So guys, hopefully you're ready for another every new deck because we have Ex-08 on the horizon, and I figured it's time as any to start dropping some deck lists so you guys can get prepped and get some well-needed ready play time. So hopefully you guys are ready for Ex-08 because I am. So let's get into the video and talk about it. So let's start it off, guys, with the newest sets. So first off, we do have some spiciness to take over and take a look at. Gallantmon is one of the new cards that will be introduced in the set, Gallantmon X Antibody. We all been waiting for good Gallantmon, right? So one thing to be warning about you guys, just straight up, this is converting extremely well in Japan right now, but at the local level. Again, just a friendly reminder, a lot of these decks are doing well at the local level, but when you start taking them to bigger events that are a lot harder of a challenge, a lot more stronger decks, a lot more resiliency, you start seeing these decks kind of get toppled over. And that's just commonplace with any major card game, is that, again, the local level is more casual based. You're going to see a lot less players playing these impressively strong decks, and then these decks start topping. So like Gallantmon is a huge fan favorite, and I know for a fact that there is a player in this world that will top with this deck. Don't not count me to it. But Gallantmon X Antibodies, when Digivolving one attacking skill, if Gallantmon or X Antibodies Digivolution cards, this Digimon gets plus 4,000 DP, and one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4,000 DP until end of turn. When Digivolving end of attack, once per turn, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 10,000 DP or less. If that effect didn't delete, trash the opponent's top security card, and this Digimon unsuspends. This thing lets you multi-attack like a fiend, and while you have 0 or less memory, this Digimon isn't affected by the effects of your opponent's Digimon. So one thing you also have to take away from in this plethora of cards is that we are getting Ex-08 before we got BT19's full release. So that now affects deck building a little bit. So some decks will be missing out here, like Tomon. I will not be doing a Sukuyamon list because I don't feel confident without the other moving parts that the token it creates. The X Antibody just isn't strong enough by itself. You could definitely make something. So if you guys are looking for Sukuyamon in here, Sukuyamon X is just a little more challenging to build right now. But we have Guillemons across the board, Guillemon X, you know, all great cards introduced into the set was the new X Antibody line, and it's perfect for what the deck wanted. You know, gaining the memory, you know, security +1, gaining that memory is huge because you're most likely removing most threats with Gallantmon's inherent effects. But getting back the turn after you've done something is superly vitally important. So this is what makes Gallantmon just tick and be able to handle all the newcomers. So to be honest with you, this is probably going to be the base list you can use. BT17 Growlmon can definitely be changed out, but if you're at 0 or less memory, because you're going to be blitzing with the Takuya here, you should be fine. This one just gets you back into your Gallantmon. So yeah, there's plenty of possibilities of what can happen, right? Then, as you guys know, Dinomon definitely is one of fans' favorites. It definitely came in security attack, fortitude, on play when Digivolving. You may suspend one Digimon, then delete one of your opponent's suspended Digimon with the lowest DP. While this Digimon is suspended, all your opponent's Digimon can only attack suspended Digimon. Dinomon is great. I know that we also gain access to Rust Tyranno in a future set, but we just don't have access to it now. Tyrannomon X Antibody is going to be probably the only problem child to get yourself going this set because it is a box topper get one. At least there will be 2 of them in there, so you get a better shot at getting Tyrannomon X and another piece you might need. So that's all great and dandy. So again, the deck comes with basically retaliation and a modifier attacker. So basically, one evolution line is about gaining DP thresholds. The other one is, you know, straight up retal. So if they remove your threat with your fortitude, you're going to be at least popping something. And then you have like security +1, Skull Marimon giving you security +1. And then this one just being able to trash the top opponent's security stack. So all in all, you got Dynamon ready for your arsenal to just really wreak havoc. Then we do have the famous Deep Savers. Deep Savers is a new deck that came out with these new field spell options. The deck focuses around the same thing as any, you know, what is it? Digimon themed deck where it was producing stuff from its sources and playing them out and just doing all those crazy shenanigans. But with the new field card, you know, while you have one or more memory, none of your deep spirit, deep saves, geez, I can't talk, traded Digimon can be deleted by battle. So this protects your Digimon completely, giving you basically stop the fighting, that 2-cost option in your basically field spell here. And all your opponent now has to do is worry about trying to remove your threats in other ways, which is pretty cool. We gained full access to a new style of play for blue that maybe be interesting. You know, Metal Seadramon Ace is one crazy powerful card that'll see play in a lot of black decks or any deck that is blue, just because of the when digivolving on play, digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, then return one of your opponent's Digimon with the play cost 7 or less to the bottom deck all turns while you have one or more memory. Now your opponent's Digimon can suspend. So as long as it's your turn and you just swing out, your opponent's going to have a bad time. Digimon is a new Jagras shenanigans. So Digimon's when digivolving return 14 play cost total worth of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom deck. If DNA digivolve, you may play a level 12 total deep saves traded Digimon from this evolution without paying its cost. So Metal Seadramon comes out and a few other pieces, but all turns while you have one or more memory, none of your opponent's Digimon none of your Digimon with deep save traits are affected by the effects of your opponent's Digimon. While you have one or less memory, none of your opponent's Digimon on play effects activate. Then you have Plesionomon itself. So you may play a level 4 or lower Digimon with a play cost Digi-Evolution card without paying its cost. You may, when any of your Digimon are played or Digivolved, if any of them have deep save traits, 2 of your Digimon may DNA Digivolve with a DNA trait in your hand. Then you may DNA Digivolve, may attack. So you're just going to use Digimon and Plesio combination and just make your opponent have a bad day. They are teching in Matt Ishida because when you play a Digimon, you spend this tamer, trash the bottom Digi-Evolution of your opponent's Digimon. Nothing too crazy about that, but maybe you can strip a tamer because a lot of players are using cards that might benefit them in a way that, you know what I mean, right? Savers? No, not savers. Whatever ones, the new, my brain is not working today, apparently. We know what they are. I've seen them 100 times over. Why can't I remember them? This one with the Balmon. Is it? SOC. Yeah, the SOC tamers and stuff like that. Any of these tamers here that are just Mind Link tamers, you can easily out them and get them out of the sources. So good to know here. Then we do have a Quinlan here has 2 new promo cards introduced in the set. So this one did top a locals. You're going to have to work with me on here. I can't guarantee all bangers here, but this deck does exist. They did get a new promo that's just gains of memory, and while in effect adds a Digivolution to any of your Digimon, Aqua, or Sea animal in its traits. By spending this tamer, one of those Digimon may Digivolve into an Aqua or Sea animals, and its traits with its Digivolution's cost reduced by 1. Not a bad trade-off. We know we have Marine Bolmon, you know, Kunmon here that'll just do that so you can get into your megas for a reduced evolution, you know, even just her natural self. But we did get a new promo Shellmon by placing a level 5 or lower Digimon with Aqua or Sea animals in any of its traits from your hand as this bottom Digi-Evolution, draw a card. So this gets the combo in with, you know, the new promo and just go off from there. I mean, it's got some small legs to stand on, but again, people want to see decks like this, so I'm willing to help out. Then we do have Skidimon. So Iceclad deck, you know, the newest form comes in with this. When Digivolving, you may play a level 4 or lower snow traded Digimon card from your hand without paying its cost. For each of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards, add 1 to maximum level. And then when Digivolving, when attacking by placing one Digimon with no Digivolution as the bottom security, this Digimon unsuspends. So you get some decent value and tempo. Hexablow is a really powerful card. Skidimon is really strong. And added with Suzanne. This is a extender here. And then you may, one of your Digimon are played or Digivolved if any of them with Ice Snow traits. By suspending this tamer, trash one Digivolution from your opponent's Digimon. I think she did not get a promo, so we don't have to worry about that. But again, the deck got some solid legs to work with. You have like Joe here to be able to help trash Digivolutions, and you get to extend when these happen. So at the end of the day, the deck has some legs now to stand on, and we're really excited for it. Then we do have Zafa got two new cards in this set. One being that entry will be Gallantmon, so you may suspend one Digimon. Then if it is your turn, this Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon with Avian or Bird in any of its traits in its hand. For every other suspended Digimon, reduce this effect Digivolution by 1, and it gets plus 2000 DP. Not a bad trade-off. And then you get Medieval Gallantmon, Alliance Vortex. You know, when this Digimon would be played by suspending 2 Digimon, reduce the play cost by 4. And then when Digivolving, you may suspend 1 Digimon, then you may delete one of your opponent's 8000 DP or lower. For each other suspended Digimon, add 3000 DP to the deletion's maximum effect. And then when played, you may activate one of this Digimon's when Digivolving effects. So it's got some power behind it in itself, right? And it could probably help boost this deck up a little bit where it needs to. So it's just something to take a look at. You have Vortex Resonance as another option. So just be ready for this deck to probably do a little bit of shenanigans. Then we have Nature Spirits. If you guys don't remember the natural order of the thing, it's got a new field spell. While you don't have a face-up security, you may ignore this Digimon's color requirements. All Nature Spirit Digimon gain Alliance. So now you're punching hard because of this field spell. You know, add your bottom security card to hand, then place this face-up as your bottom security card. So yeah, not a bad trade-off. Nature Spirits being in there is really powerful. You know, you have Hercules Kabuterimon Ace, that when this Digimon becomes suspended, one of your Digimon gains piercing and plus 3000 DP until the end of opponent's turn. You know, this all adds up with the Talcamon skill as well. So be ready for this deck to pop off as well. I think it does quite well into the format, and we'll have to see long term if this will matter. Then we do have Pyramidon. So this thing's got the weirdest face in the world, but Fragment 3, when Digivolving when attacking by trashing any 3 minerals or rock traded cards from any of your Digimon Digivolution cards, this Digimon unsuspends, gains security attack 1 for the turn. End of your turn, you may place up to 3 mineral or rock cards from your trash as the bottom Digievolution. So it has a protection skill, gains momentum, and really hits hard, but it did get some promos. So first off, we got a new close promo. So if your opponent has a Digimon gain a memory, when an effect trashes a Digivolution of any of your rock minerals traded Digimon, by spending this tamer, place 1 card with rock or mineral from your trash as at any of those Digimon's bottom sources. So you know what? 1 for 1 getting Pyramid to OTK better. You're gonna want to have this close. So I mean, if you got 2 of these out, basically Pyramidmon's gonna reload back up. You could definitely go like this and definitely be set up as well. You know, when any of your Digimon Digivolves, by suspending this tamer, place 2 as the bottom mineral trait. But this close can also lead to being, when you're OTKing, to just reload back those pieces at least once, and then your opponent's got to answer this thing. And then it did get a new promo in the shape of Landramon. So mineral rock traded cards from any of your Digimon's Digivolution, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck among them. Add 1 mineral rock trait to your hand and place 1 such card as this bottom Digivolution. Return the rest of the bottom deck. And then when effect trashes this card, you get the DDG evolution. So all in all, great across the board. I don't think much has changed except the addition of Close and Landramon. And I think the deck can actually be more competitive. So that's something to keep in mind, especially going forwards. Now, Justimon we can kind of work with, right? This was another top that happened with a better event. We're missing a lot of devices and Justimon Ace to really make this deck kind of flow smoothly, but we can substitute with a Justy Kick, just a semi. You may play one Digimon for when you would use this, reduce the cost for each of the tamers you have in play. So we have plenty of tamers to work with, especially because Marvin Jackson and Kosuke can kind of get some benefit and extra mileage for us. Outside of that, we're not too bad because we like have Cybergemon Ace as another, you know, just on play. You get to play the Black Tamer when you hard play the Cybergemon, which you'll use Supreme Connection to kind of reduce the play cost on your cyborg here. And if I remember, you can reduce the play cost of all your boys here to be a little bit cheaper. Supreme Connection does a lot better with Justimon Ace, but we have to work with what we got, right? So you'll be able to play stuff a little bit cheaper. You know, this one you may play from your hand without paying its cost, then add this to the owner's hand. You know, we can bring this down by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 reduction, we can take that if we can get all the tamers out in the Magic world. But again, this is big Christmas land right now because we are missing some pieces, but it's a starting point to give you guys some wheels to work on because Justimon Ace X antibody is so good. Rush, piercing, security attack 1, activate when digivolving effect of one of your Justimon in its name in its Digivolution as an effect of this Digimon. And then end of turn, your opponent has an unsuspended Digimon. This Digimon may attack a player. So it's got Rush, Piercing, and Security Attack 1. Nothing to scoff at. This card can really slap. But you also gain all your abilities from your Blitz arms, your Excel arms, and your critical arms. And you do have Cybergemon X Antibody, who can help you by trashing one of your option cards in the battle area, trash the opponent's top security stack, which can trigger your pawn device, your rook device, or your bishop device as options as well. I mean, you got defensive training, memory boost, and Supreme Connection. You have plenty of stuff to be able to trash away. So it's up to you how you want to build the deck. And I'm just going to be honest with you. This is what we can work with. Then we do have Nightmare Soldiers, another deck that, if I remember correctly, we're missing something small. It's not in the main set. I think it's something in an older set that we're missing. But I think that's just because we're missing the device, if I remember correctly, that they were starting to tech in. But outside of that, you know, we do have access to Nightmare Soldiers. You know, this is going to search your pieces. Ukumon's going to help us search for pieces as well. And, you know, with the access to, you know, Pyramidon Ace, you know, you're going to be able to remove threats very comfortably. You have Bobon that digivolves 3 of one of your opponent's Digimon, and for the turn, all their Digimon gets minus 6,000 DP. And then if DNA, you may play 10 play costs worth of Nightmare Soldier traded Digimon from the trash without paying its cost. And then it does have the field spell Nightmare Soldiers, all level 4 or higher traded, gain Scapegoat, all add your bottom security card to your hand, the whole 9 yards. This is really cool to have field spells in the game, and hopefully this continues to be adapting. But you know, they all have unique skills. This one's going to get -2 to something. This one's going to boost your stuff. This one's going to draw trash a card when attacking. MyOtismon helps you DNA for a reduce. So this helps you a lot of the ways. You know, delete one of your other Digimon this on suspends. You know, Punkinmon's going to recover 1 for on deletion. It's got the works to work with. So hopefully we can get there with this list, and I'm excited to see where we go with it in the long term. Then we do have Bobon. Bobon X is gonna be straight honest with you, I don't know if this deck's going to have the legs to stand on. It has 7 Jewelerize. You know, if your opponent has 5 or more cards, then trash 1 card in the hand and delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. For every 3 cards in your opponent's, you can remove one of its effects level maximum. So you bring this down pretty quickly. You know, Bobon X helps you get, you know, your opponent may trash 1 card in the hand. If the effect didn't trash, you may play a Fallen Angel traded Digimon with a play cost 7 or less from your trash without paying its cost. You know, your target is here. He's a Fallen Angel, Ferrismon. that's not going to be played by it. But yeah, your kind of options are very limited in this from what I found. But you got Devi and Ferrismon as your kind of loop targets just to get this, because he's actually pretty decent for his on deletion. If your opponent has 5 or more cards in the hand, gain a memory. Then if 7 or more, they trash a card in their hand. You know, you have Bobon himself, trash 1 card in your opponent's hand without looking, and then when your opponent's hand is trashed from, you can play a play cost 10 or lower purple Digimon, go from your trash without paying its cost for each of your opponent's hand. Card in their hand, reduce the maximum level by 1. So your goal is to try to snip their hand apart, but you're really going to have some trouble. I don't know if this deck's going to really go to town. You know what I mean? At least you have like Octomon that basically, you know, has a token producer that if you can spam Octomon a few times, you could probably lower their hand size. It's just really much of a challenge, especially because this game is all about the draws. And then finally, did we talk about everything? I think we did. The final deck we're going to talk about is with the introduction of Medieval Gallantmon. It's created some interesting decks that revived themselves now. So Medieval is such a great control card, it's not even funny. Just because this thing's going to be, when this card would be played by spending 2 Digimon, reduce the play cost by 4, coming in for 7 for removal, which again, Setcon loves that already. Being Alliance Vortex, and you know, when Digimon are played, you may activate its when Digiballing effects. When Medieval Gallantmon on board can really make your opponent have an extremely bad day. Excuse me, why are you here? Why are you here? Excuse me, there's some technical difficulties. There are 3 cards missing. Let me go find out what 3 cards decided not to show up on today. So Setcon, we'll double fix that. I don't understand why all of a sudden there was a Greymon in there and the Phoenixmon's removal spell. So, oh. Yep. Judgment. Judgment. There we go. 1, 2, 3. So, if you guys don't know what Setcon does, it's basically every player's worst nightmare. Facing against this deck is so annoying and really a royal pain in the butt because the ability this deck has. You know, this is Mother D Reaper already has Shoto to give it blocker, with Tai Kamias to make the mother bigger when it blocks, and your opponent's just going to have a bad day. You know, they have access to all these powerful cards, like Mastamon Ace is, you're not going to be Blast DNA Digivolving here at all, but you will be on play when Digivolving. You may play a level 5 or lower with Angel Archangel from your hand, or trash without paying its cost. If you DNA Digivolve, place 1 other Digimon at the bottom of its owner's security stack. You're never going to do the DNA effect, but it's the fact that you get the Magna Anja Ace or the Magnamon coming right back out, setting yourself up, especially if your opponent's, if you have 1 or 2 already set up, you can just keep looping them and just constantly recovering and just making your opponent have to hit your security, and your options are just way too strong at times, and that is just something your opponent has to deal with. And well-time anything is super important. I mean, having Shoto being Mother D Reaper's blocker generator, Tai Kamiya making Mother D Reaper when it blocks bigger, and all your threats just scarier in general, and Tai letting you generate draw. You know, Omnimon Zort defeat coming out of security is always scary. Death X to help mitigate wide boards, while Medieval Gallantmon's doing the same thing. You know, all culminates into this really, really scary aspect of deck building that your opponent is not going to be prepared for, to be honest with you. This deck coming back and winning as many locals as it has is proving that control can re-exist. And again, we're just one set away from this deck reviving itself. You gotta be kidding me for this thing to come back. But you know what? It exists. It's going to be always a demon that always hovers over everybody, right? So guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace.